Everyone thinks I ruined my own relationship, but they don't know what really happened behind closed doors. I was set up, manipulated, and left questioning my own sanity. And the worst part? I let it happen. Welcome to Reddit Toxic Family Telltales channel. New episode every day. My girlfriend's best friend tried to destroy me because she was secretly in love with me, and when I exposed her, her entire reputation went up in flames. But the way it all started? Honestly, it almost ruined my life. It was my final semester of college, the home stretch. Everything depended on one assignment worth 40% of my grade. I submitted it, double-checked it, and felt that small rush of relief until I got my grade back. A big, fat zero. Panic rushed through me. I emailed my professor right away, begging him to explain. His reply? It's your own fault for turning in a blank document. A blank document. I opened the file I had uploaded, and sure enough, all of my work, hours of research, writing, late nights, was just gone. My chest tightened, my throat burned, and I felt tears building. I ran straight to my girlfriend for comfort. But when I poured my heart out, she didn't hug me. She didn't even look shocked. She just smirked. That sly, almost mocking smirk. I stared at her. What's so funny? And then she said it. She was the one who deleted my assignment. I broke. I actually cried in front of her. That assignment determined whether or not I'd graduate. And graduation wasn't just a piece of paper for me. I had promised my grandma, before she passed, that I would be the first in my family to earn a college degree. And now? It was like that promise had been ripped out of my hands. Why would you do that? I asked, my voice shaking. She looked me dead in the eye and said, because you cheated. I froze. Cheated? What are you talking about? That's when she pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots her best friend Chelsea had sent her. Screenshots of a Tinder profile. My Tinder profile. My jaw literally dropped. I told her, that's ancient. That's my old profile. To prove it, I downloaded Tinder right in front of her and tried logging in. Of course it didn't work, the account was long gone. But she wasn't convinced. She screamed, then why would Chelsea send this to me? All I could say was, maybe because your best friend is insane? We never resolved it. That night we went to bed angry. I could feel her pulling further and further away from me, and I had no idea how much worse it was about to get. A few days later, I was in the campus cafe with a classmate, grinding through another project. We were laughing at something dumb, probably a typo or some inside joke. Suddenly, I spotted Jenny, my girlfriend, walking by with Chelsea. I smiled and waved at them before going right back to my work. But Chelsea? She couldn't leave it alone. She leaned in close to Jenny and whispered, loud enough for me to catch the looks, about how cute my classmate was, about how close we were sitting, how much I was laughing. She twisted something innocent into something suspicious, like she always did. That night, Jenny came home fuming. Who was that girl at the cafe? Why didn't you tell me about her? I explained over and over that she was just a classmate. Nothing more. But Chelsea had already poisoned her mind. Jenny's eyes were sharp, accusing, like she'd already decided I was guilty before I even opened my mouth. The argument spiraled fast. Every word I said only seemed to dig me deeper. I finally snapped and said, don't you see? It's Chelsea. She's the one feeding you these lies. Jenny immediately jumped to her defense. Chelsea would never lie to me. She's just looking out for me. If anyone's lying, it's you. That crushed me. It had always felt like I was competing with Chelsea for Jenny's attention. I even brought up the time I booked a table at this amazing restaurant, one she'd been begging to try. The night finally came, but she canceled on me last minute because Chelsea had just broken up with her boyfriend. My weeks of planning meant nothing compared to Chelsea's tears. Looking back, it wasn't just one time. It was a pattern. Anytime Chelsea needed something, I was the one shoved to the back of the line. I told Jenny flat out, Chelsea always comes first with you. No matter what's happening with us, I'm never your priority when she's around. She got defensive, said Chelsea was just going through a hard time. But I couldn't shake it. Couldn't stop pointing out how she never had the same energy for me. Jenny's face hardened. Her voice got cold. She grabbed her keys and before I knew it, the door slammed behind her. I just stood there in silence, realizing that no matter how much I tried to explain myself, her trust in me was already gone. Later that week, Chelsea played her next card. She invited my girlfriend to a party, painting it as a way for her to finally let go of all the tension between us. It'll be fun, she promised. You need a break. And honestly, I was relieved. I thought maybe it would give Jenny some space, maybe help her relax. So when she told me she was going, I didn't even think twice about it. That night, the party seemed normal enough. Music pulsing through the speakers, laughter bouncing from every corner. Jenny was with Chelsea, grabbing drinks and mingling. I was across the room catching up with some friends, nothing wild, nothing shady, just joking around like anyone would on a Friday night. But then I noticed Chelsea glance across the room. Her eyes landed on me, and suddenly she leaned into Jenny's ear. I couldn't hear her words over the music, but I saw the way she pointed, whispering like a snake. Jenny's face changed instantly. One second she was relaxed, smiling, and the next her expression hardened. It was like watching a storm roll in out of nowhere. She locked eyes with me, her gaze sharp and cold, and started striding straight across the room. When she reached me, her voice was sharp enough to cut through the noise. So this is what you're doing now? Flirting with other girls while I'm over there? I blinked, stunned. What? What are you talking about? Don't lie to me, she snapped. I saw you. Laughing with them. Sitting close. Acting like I don't even exist. It was like being punched in the gut. My words stumbled out. We were literally just talking. That's it. I wasn't flirting with anyone. But she didn't believe me. Her eyes were already filled with doubt, her thoughts poisoned by whatever Chelsea had whispered. She cut me off, her voice trembling now. You've been lying this whole time. I see it now. You never cared about me. Tears welled up in her eyes before she spun on her heel and stormed out of the party. I stood there frozen, chest tightening like I couldn't breathe. How had things gotten this bad this fast? And then it hit me, it was all Chelsea. Every seed of doubt, every twisted rumor, every tear, it all traced back to her. The next morning, Jenny walked into our room, and I knew before she even opened her mouth that something was wrong. Her face was blank, her shoulders tense, and she didn't say a word. She just tossed her phone onto the table between us. I picked it up, confused. The screen was already lit. My stomach dropped. It was a screenshot of what looked like a chat between me and some random girl. Flirty messages. Stuff I would never say, but there it was, right in front of me. And the sender of these receipts? Who else but Chelsea? I looked up, scrambling for words, but Jenny beat me to it. Her voice cracked. You've been lying to me. First the cafe, then the party, and now this? Chelsea was right about you all along. It felt like the floor had vanished under me. I tried to explain, my words coming out frantic. That's not me. I never sent those messages. They're fake, don't you see? Chelsea's been trying to get between us from the beginning. She doesn't want us together. Jenny crossed her arms and turned her head away, like she couldn't even look at me. Chelsea's my best friend. She wouldn't make this up. Why would she? There it was again. Chelsea. Always Chelsea. No matter what evidence I gave, no matter how much I pleaded, it always came back to her word over mine. I could feel frustration boiling up in my chest. Because she's jealous. She's scared of losing you, and she's been trying to control this relationship from the start. She's twisting everything so you'll walk away from me. Jenny let out a tired sigh like she'd heard it all before. You're just making excuses. I tried again, desperate, begging her to believe me. But her face stayed stone cold. Finally, she whispered, almost too quiet to hear, I need a break. I can't keep doing this, with all these doubts, all this drama. I need space. My heart sank. I felt like I was watching her slip through my fingers, powerless to stop it. All because of lies Chelsea had planted in her head. I wanted to reach out, to shake her, to make her see the truth. But the look in her eyes told me it was already over. She grabbed her things, turned her back on me, and left without another word. And I was left standing there in silence, wondering how much more Chelsea could take from me before there was nothing left. Weeks went by and nothing got better. The distance between us only grew. No matter how many times I tried to explain, no matter how desperately I begged her to listen, it was like Chelsea's voice was louder than mine inside her head. It ate at me. I couldn't sleep, couldn't focus. I knew this wasn't just jealousy on my part, I had to prove it. I had to show her that Chelsea wasn't just an innocent friend looking out for her. So I started digging. I went further back through Chelsea's social media than I ever had before. Old posts, comments, captions, stuff I would have ignored before, but now? Every word looked different under a new light. And that's when the mask slipped. Chelsea hadn't just been whispering poison into Jenny's ear behind closed doors. She had been laying the groundwork for months, maybe even longer. There were posts where she'd make these subtle jokes at my expense, mocking the idea that I was even good enough for Jenny. To anyone else, it probably seemed harmless, playful banter. But reading it now, I could feel the venom underneath. The deeper I scrolled, the darker it got. Chelsea had left comments about Jenny too, stuff she'd never dare say to her face. She painted Jenny as naive, overly trusting, blind to the truth. And suddenly it all clicked. Chelsea wasn't just feeding Jenny doubts about me. She was feeding her doubts about herself. Twisting both sides of the knife. At first, I thought Chelsea's goal was obvious. She wanted Jenny all to herself. She'd always inserted herself between us, always demanded Jenny's attention. But as I kept going, I saw something uglier. This wasn't new. Chelsea's bitterness had been festering long before I was in the picture. It wasn't just about me. It wasn't just about us. Chelsea had been sabotaging Jenny too. And I couldn't figure out why, until Jenny herself gave me the missing piece. I gathered everything, screenshots, posts, even the fake messages Chelsea had sent. When I confronted Jenny, I laid it all in front of her. I watched her face shift as she read. First confusion. Then disbelief. For a second I thought, finally. She sees it. She understands. But then she froze. Her eyes darted up to mine. This isn't what it looks like, she whispered, shaking her head. My stomach dropped. She thought I was the one twisting things. I tried to keep calm, but the frustration was clawing at my chest. She's been doing this to us all along. She's lying, twisting everything, making you doubt me, making you doubt yourself. She's jealous of you. Jenny flinched like the word was a slap. Why would she be jealous? Chelsea's my best friend. She's been there for me through everything. You're the one trying to turn me against her. I wanted to scream. How could she not see it? How could she look at everything I just showed her and still cling to Chelsea? But then I remembered something Jenny had told me once, just a throwaway comment years back, that Chelsea carried some kind of grudge from when they were younger. So I asked, what happened between you two? Jenny hesitated. Her eyes flickered like she was weighing whether to tell me. And then slowly the words spilled out. In high school, the boys liked me. Not Chelsea. She hated it. I didn't ask for the attention, but she blamed me. There was one guy though, Jenny's voice softened. Chelsea liked him for years. She was obsessed with him. But during senior year, he confessed to me instead. I stayed quiet, letting her keep going. I didn't even want him like that, she said quickly. But when Chelsea found out, it crushed her. She never forgave me. She just shut down. She stopped talking about it, but I could tell she hated me for it. Jenny's voice cracked and she went silent. I could see her connecting the dots. The bitterness, the jealousy, the years of quiet resentment, it all traced back to that moment. Chelsea never got over it. Jenny shook her head, fighting with herself. I don't want to believe she'd do this to me. Not after all these years. Not after everything. And that was the hardest part. Because even as the truth stared her in the face, even as she pieced it together herself, part of her still clung to the Chelsea she thought she knew. I sat there feeling helpless. No matter how much proof I laid out, no matter how clear it all seemed to me, she wasn't ready to accept it. Chelsea still had her hooks in her. And I wasn't sure if anything or anyone could break that hold. Eventually, I realized there was only one thing left to do, confront Chelsea directly. I caught her one afternoon when she was alone. No Jenny to defend her. No audience to perform for. Just me and her. I looked her straight in the eye and brought up the story she had supposedly told my girlfriend, the one where she claimed to have seen me with another girl. That was a lie, I said. My voice was steady, but inside my heart was hammering. And you know it. Chelsea tried to laugh it off at first, brushing me aside like I was being dramatic. You're overreacting, she said. It's not that serious. But I pushed harder. I pressed her for details. Where exactly did this happen? What time? Who else was there? And that's when it happened. Her cool mask slipped. Her answers started contradicting each other, tripping over her own lies. She couldn't keep the story straight. And in that moment I knew I had her. I gathered everything I'd uncovered, every piece of evidence, and brought it all to Jenny. This time, when I laid it out in front of her, she couldn't ignore it. The screenshots, the posts, the inconsistencies, it all came together. She finally saw it. Her eyes filled with shock and pain, and I could tell, it was like her whole world was caving in. Chelsea hadn't just twisted facts. She had played on Jenny's deepest insecurities, worming her way between us until she'd almost destroyed everything. Jenny cut ties with Chelsea that night. Just like that, years of friendship went up in smoke. But the truth? The damage was already done. Because it wasn't just Chelsea who betrayed her. It was herself too. Jenny admitted she felt foolish for trusting her so blindly, for letting Chelsea's poison control her. But worst of all, she doubted us. We sat down to talk, and it was the hardest conversation we'd ever had. The air between us was heavy with everything we'd been through, the lost trust, the manipulation, the weeks of accusations. She admitted she'd been wrong to doubt me. But apologies didn't erase the fact that she had. That, when it mattered most, she believed Chelsea over me. The trust between us wasn't just cracked, it was shattered. As much as we wanted to, there was no way to go back to what we had before. The relationship was scarred beyond repair. After a long, painful talk, we both came to the same conclusion. We weren't the same anymore. No amount of apologies, no amount of forgiveness was enough to fix what had been broken. So we ended it. There was no screaming. No dramatic scene. Just a quiet, crushing sadness as she gathered her things and walked out the door for the last time. And when the silence closed in around me, the sting of it all finally settled in. Chelsea had lost her best friend. Jenny had lost her trust. And I had lost the person I loved. All because of lies. Thanks for watching. Today's train wreck is over, but tomorrow's ride is already on track. Subscribe so you don't miss it.